Alright, y'all, what up? Welcome to the channel. Boxed in. LIE is me. And if you not yet, please do become a G. And all you gotta do is hit that like and subscribe. Let me know what's going on and hype it up. Yo, I'ma do my first reaction to Swamp Stories. This was my very first YouTube put on. Somebody put me on to him because I wanted to know all I could find out about my boy Fulio, you know what I'm saying? So they told me to follow the Swamp Stories. They tell you all about it. So this was my very first introduction, and let's get into it. Look at Charleston. Look at Charleston.
He was a real demon, and he professed to be a demon. He himself said he was a demon.
Oh, and before we go any further, you know this one is brought to you by my shot, Green Magic, baby. So, yo, it's 420, man. Happy 420, first of all. And Green Magic hit me off so I could show the world what's going on out there. You heard? Make sure you get to the reservation, Poospatuck reservation, and go holla at Green Magic. Follow the sign, man. You'll see it, man. Don't get caught up with them other greens. No, man. Green Magic, man. Oh, 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 it's a lot up in this bag right here, man. Oh, 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 okay. Did y'all get all of that? All right. Okay. Okay, Green Magic is in the building, man. Love it, appreciate it, man. This is real. Oh, okay. Green Magic is official. Oh, man. Okay. Got the soft work. Alright. Hey, man, this is the first time I'm seeing everything in here with y'all, man. Okay, okay. Get your merch up, man. Get your merch up, man. If your merch ain't up, I tell you to get your merch up, right? Yeah, I like that right there. Yeah, that's official, man. That's official tissue, man. Word. Alright, what else we got up in here, man? You know, Green Magic do it big, man, when it comes to that merch, man. Facts. I got a varsity coat from them, too. And if you seen my music video, I got my joint on in there. Look at that. That's fire, right? You know what I'm talking about? What? What? Yo, I'm telling you, man. They ain't gonna mess with a brother when he step out, you heard? With his magic on. You know what time it is. But now let's get to the good stuff. Okay, yeah. We on that good old ashtray and all land on that. Now I gotta go grab up on the quad that came in that mug. Oh yeah. Cause you know we gotta roll up. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Nice tray that came in that piece, man. And come with the fire top. Yeah. Ah. It's a Green Magic world, man. So shout out to Green Magic, 420. Happy 420, everybody. And let's get back to the video. Oh, Charleston White. Good Lord. LIGs, shout out to the Niz. And they don't make them like these. Welcome to the channel, baby. Let's go.
Certain stuff that how you do, like you sleep in the graveyard for like 3 days, 4 days to a week. Drink chicken, like animal blood. It's different stuff though, like you know, I don't really think about it. This the life we live in, shit. We know the consequences, and everybody know the consequences in the streets. Dead in jail, and if you don't know the consequences, get out the streets.
You know what I'm saying? I said what I said. Just stand on that.
Welcome back to another episode of Swamp Stories. For this one, we center around possibly the most dangerous rapper of all time. Some call him evil, others call him sociopathic, but overall, this is a man who embodies every single bad aspect of being a rapper. We all know generally the terrible things he was about, but oftentimes the story is much deeper than what's on the surface. At the end of the day, we're all human, and given bad circumstances, we're all capable of doing some horrible things. So before you celebrate his loss, let's dive into his life, what he's been through, and what led him down an evil path. Regardless, this video was definitely one of the craziest ones yet, and I promise you do not want to miss a single second. But before we get into it, let me run the intro.
It was a demon.
We're going to show you 13 mind-blowing use cases for creators using the new AI Workspace 2.0 from GenSpark. Silicon
Yo, I tell you what, I vote this man as the hardest intro in YouTube channels. This is the
Welcome
hardest
to
intro.
Jacksonville, Florida, a city long known for old people, retirement homes, and enclosed pools. I bet you weren't expecting that, were you? It's the truth though, bruh, on my mama. No, really, Jacksonville has always been known as a great place to retire. In particular, buying a suburban home is cheap and there's a whole lot of land available. In fact, it's by far the biggest city in mainland America, and you can actually fit 19 San Franciscos inside of the city. This makes it easily the most spread out city in America, which is perfect for people who hate crime, neighbors, or really anything dangerous. But like anywhere in America, Jacksonville definitely has its hoods too. The hoods of Jacksonville exist almost exclusively on the north and west sides of the city. Here you'll find neighborhoods resemblant of Memphis or Baton Rouge with a whole lot of open carrying, bail bond signs, and a ton of
abandoned homes all over, like this one, with ripped out electrical boxes, boarded up windows. Across the street, I see bullet holes all over.
Ooh, but despite the daunting looks, it was always known for being laid back, donk riding, and crazy hair wearing. But in this video, you'll see how one man single-handedly changed the vibe from being overly player to being evil and possibly a worse drill scene than Chicago. No, for real, Jacksonville is bad, and in this video, we start in one of the North Side's most infamous hoods. The video begins in an infamous Section 8 project called the Hilltop Village, also known as the Bricks for short.
The worst hood in Jacksonville, like literally the worst hood, Hilltop Village Apartments.
I heard about the bricks,
I'm
man.
appalled
Bricks is tough.
about how these residents are living.
We're gonna go to Hilltop Apartments right now.
You for real? Don't, I won't do that.
Statistically, the Bricks have always been the worst part of the city, with constant violence, robberies, raids, and more. In fact, it got so bad that the city mandated they put a metal fence around the property, only allowing residents on the premises. Well, here is where a man named Charles Jones, also known as Rick the Ruler, was seen as the landlord. Not exactly the person who collects the rents, but the man who's in charge of running all of the street activities in the project. For years, Rick was deeply feared on the north side, kind of like the boogeyman. Well, simultaneously, Rick was a father as well, with a son named Charles Jones Jr. who lived with him and his mother in the Bricks. Born in 1998, Charles Jr. experienced an extremely violent period on the north side, surrounded by nothing but chaos and violence. This made lending a normal childhood nearly impossible for Charles, as focusing on school and even sleeping at night were difficult tasks. He basically grew up roaming around the projects, seeing things that he probably should not have been seeing. Then at 11 years old, he witnessed something that truly no kid should ever see. It's a late afternoon in the Bricks, and Charles and his friends are hanging out in the courtyard. As they're playing games and minding their own business, suddenly they start hearing a loud confrontation. So Charles naturally looks over and sees his best friend's mom and her boyfriend getting into a fight. The argument gets heated, and sadly the man lets his emotions get the best of him. He whips out and makes a terrible decision. The man runs away, and everyone comes in to help the woman. They rush her to the hospital, where thankfully she survives. Regardless though, witnessing this at 11 would scar Charles Jr. for life.
It was so crazy. I was so close to my dog at the time. I'm watching him cry like, and then I'm seeing her lay down on the steps. She lift her arm straight up. She like, I'm shot. I'm like, this is really going on. You feel me? That night, like that just fucked my mind up. That just showed me like, cause you know when you a kid, you don't think death for real. That showed me that death is real, like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, she actually died?
Nah, she ain't died, but I'm looking at her bleed and, you know what I'm saying?
Hilltop was stamped in his mind by this horrible incident, and it was no place to continue to grow up. So thankfully at the age of 12, his father moved to the west side of Jacksonville, relieving him from all the problems of the bricks. So starting in the 6th grade, little Charles went to school and lived on the west side of Jacksonville, which really wasn't that much better. Okay, it was definitely better than living in the bricks, but it also wasn't Beverly Hills. Let me explain. Charles moved to the corner of 24th Street, located in an area full of low to middle class houses. Here, because it's also low income, things do happen, but it's nothing like the constant chaos of the bricks. Well, while living here, Charles befriended a man named Dwayne who lived right up the block on 25th. Little did Charles know the seemingly friendly Dwayne had an arrest record as long as Crip Mac's vocabulary. Okay, so it wasn't that long, but it included some disgusting crimes that I can't say on YouTube. All I can say is that Dwayne is registered. Regardless, Charles doesn't know this and Dwayne is often at his house hanging out. They quickly become homeboys, and that takes us to May 11th, 2011. It's a Wednesday afternoon and Junior comes home to an argument right outside of his house. Dwayne and his father are yelling at each other over something that seems to be minor. So little Charles thinks nothing of it and heads to his room. Regardless, he doesn't want this kind of energy near his son, so Big Charles asks Dwayne to leave his house. Unfortunately, Dwayne doesn't respect his wishes and the two get into a squabble. They get it in front of the house, and from what we know, Big Charles beats his Obviously, Dwayne is now even more pissed and he decides to head back home. Big Charles is kind of feeling good about himself and he really doesn't think much of it, just another fight in the hood. But little does he know, Dwayne has a couple of screws loose. At 12:30 a.m., little Charles is asleep in his room and Big Charles is in the living room watching TV. That's when he hears a loud knock on the door. So he gets up, sees that it's Dwayne, and decides to let him in. He assumes that Dwayne is there to make peace or to apologize for the argument, but sadly that's not the case. Either way, at first, Dwayne plays the part and he sits down to talk with Charles. They discuss what happened for a few minutes until Dwayne's emotions get the best of him and he whips out. Police would arrive to discover Charles lifeless on the ground and Dwayne sitting on the couch. Sadly, there was no saving Big Charles and they were left to investigate Dwayne. So what happened? Well, we had an argument on the couch and things went bad. It's simple as that. So right then and there, police put Dwayne in handcuffs and take him straight to jail. For Charles Jr., this was a terrifying and devastating moment of his life, something you can never recover from. His father was his idol and he always dreamed of making the football team to impress him. So to experience something like this at just 12 years old, I can't even imagine.
He just died, you know what I'm saying? I was young, I was like 12, 13, so you know what I'm saying? We didn't get to do much together, like, you know? That shit put my head up. Like, that every, like, my family, his side of the family, it was just a messed up situation. Like, I was like, damn, like, people really kill, like, take somebody you love from you, like.
The tragic incident deeply affected Junior's outlook on the world as his heart was starting to turn cold. Understandably, after the loss of his father, he began fighting in school and spiraling down a bad path. His fights were on a daily basis, he started getting suspended, expelled, and even carrying a blick. Basically, without a father figure, little Charles started to act way too old for his age, even going to clubs at just 13 years old.
That's when, like, I jumped out the porch, like, I got my first gun and, you know what I'm saying, evolving and seeing, like, different stuff coming at me so fast. And my first clubs, I went to my first clubs, fighting and all type of crazy stuff. It was just a lot going on around me, like, okay, we walk in the clubs, like, we walking to every club, like, 50 deep.
At this point, at just 13 years old, he was already jumped off the porch and hanging with the older guys in the neighborhood. And in order to prove himself and impress his peers, he started to act completely wild. Kind of like a young Gangsta Williams, he was already known for letting that heat blow, and that's why he earned the nickname of Foolio. But even though Foolio was now fully in the streets, he remained going to school for one particular reason. The boy loved football, and at this point, he still had Division I dreams. For this reason, he steadily kept his grades up in order to make the football team. So even after all the tragedies in his life, there was still hope for a young Foolio. Because of his love for football, Foolio had a very successful freshman year of high school. But then, while everything is going well, sadly another tragedy would hit him hard. That introduces us to Foolio's best friend, an 11th grader named Aaron Man Brooks. Julio and Aaron grew up together as kids in North Jacksonville, with basically Aaron being the big homie. Well, despite Julio moving away, he and Aaron actually remained close as Aaron wanted to see him succeed. Aaron was actually a good football player himself, but at this point he was completely mixed up in the dangerous North Jacksonville politics. And that takes us to April 14th, 2014, 9:30 p.m. It's a Monday night and Aaron is walking back home after picking up some food. Well, little does he know, a car has been slowly following behind him ever since he left the store. Eventually, he notices the lights, looks behind him, and sees a man hopping out of a car. So instantly, Aaron starts sprinting down 4th Street, but sadly, the man catches up. The neighbors call 911 after hearing shots, and Jacksonville police arrive. Unfortunately, they don't see a victim, so they just write it off as a false alarm. What? Maybe Tupac wasn't lying when he said, "They don't give a f about us." Like, how is it even possible that you did an investigation when somebody was literally on the street? Well, Jacksonville sucks, and because of this, Aaron's family had to worry all night, where is our son? Is he at a friend's house? Where did he go? And sadly, that takes us to the next morning. It's 7 in the morning and a group of high schoolers are walking to the bus stop. As they're approaching the bus stop on 4th Street, sadly that's where they notice their classmate Aaron. They're obviously terrified and they call 911. The police come and figure out who it is, and word starts to spread around Jacksonville. For Julio, he was in 2nd period when he discovered the news, and once he learned, he completely dropped to his knees. He's absolutely devastated that he just lost his best friend, but quickly the pain turns into anger. This is Julio's breaking point. The loss of Aaron tipped a 15-year-old Julio over the edge as he no longer saw life in a positive manner, and now he wanted to give up on football. Now he was purely angry and wanted to just be a demon in the streets. And during his sophomore year of high school, an opportunity to be in the streets would arise, or at least he thought. He begins hanging with the older homies who he used to hang out with when he first moved to the west side of Jacksonville. When he used to hang out with them, they were all kids, but now they're all grown up and they're repping a clique called Headfirst ENT, also known as HFE. HFE were basically a group of teenagers who jumped off the porch together and didn't really rep a block. Instead, they just repped West Jacksonville. The story goes that after giving up on football, Julio started to approach them to hang out.
Like, hey, remember me? I was the little kid who moved to West Jacksonville and used to be your friend.
Unfortunately, HFE still saw him as the broke little dirty kid from the bricks. So basically, they'd only hang out with him in private, and once he approached them trying to be HFE, they completely laughed and mocked him.
Come on, blood.
They took Julio as a joke and they did not want him running with them in the streets. In particular, a guy Julio looked up to named HFE Big Baby went from his cool big
You, just you, building your app on base 44. Describe it. And it's real.
Cool big homie to get out of my face, little dude. This rejection could not have come at a worse time.
That's be the bull crap that dudes be doing to little homies, and then little homies come back on you. For real, do your homework on not holding down a little homie.
To hang out with are treating me like trash. So when already angry Julio lets his emotions get the best of him, it's me versus everyone. He goes on social media and makes the bold decision to diss Big Baby and the rest of the HFE members. I don't care who you think you are and how many people you hang with, I'm not scared of any of you. This is obviously a risky move as Julio lives in their neighborhood, goes to school in their neighborhood, and he's way outnumbered. But this dude does not care. He's the definition of a crash out. And that takes us to December 10th, 2014. It's an early Wednesday morning in West Jacksonville and HFE Big Baby is waiting for the bus. He has his headphones in and is completely zoned out, no idea of what's going on around him. So little does he know, a man in a mask is creeping up on him from across the street. The man in the mask walks right up to the bus stop, and with HFE Big Baby not paying attention, he lets loose. Bang. Police quickly arrive to the scene, but sadly it's far too late.
Let it be justice served, oh God!
A small prayer group made their presence known in Grant Park today.
They prayed for healing.
All that they need is in the house, Lord.
Their church sits at the intersection of 13th and Canal, where this morning this was the scene as police roped it off, gathering evidence. Pastor David Bennett says he heard at least 15 rounds go off around 6:30 a.m.
Well, I was getting down in the house because I heard the rounds going off. So I was just getting out, and my kids were getting out too in the house.
When he came outside, he saw the body on the street. We now know the victim is 16-year-old Devron Crowden. This is an older picture of him his grandmother sent us. To his friends, he was known as simply Big Baby.
The word quickly spreads around the community, prompting grieving and even protests.
Now protesters are taking...
Yo, this is like real crazy, son. Like, this happens everywhere, because I'm in New York, in case y'all know I'm a LIG. That's why this the truest LI channel, Suffolk County. Yeah. But this happens everywhere, B. For real.
To the street near the shooting scene, closing the roads once again to demand answers.
For Big Baby's classmates, they would receive the news from an announcement at school. Obviously, everyone is shocked and saddened, but Big Baby's close friends, they're devastated. Then quickly, the pain turns into anger, and they're eager to know who's responsible. Well, while everyone is posting commemoration for Big Baby, Fulio was doing the exact opposite. He instantly clowns Big Baby on Facebook, making everyone assume that he did it, or at least that he had something to do with it. As soon as they see this, HFE automatically assumed that it was Fulio who did it, and now they're on his trail. But because they're at school and don't have weapons, they first seek to fight him. So lunchtime comes around and 3 HFE members go searching for Fulio. They spot him in line at the cafeteria, they surround him, and they start whooping his Quickly though, the security guards break it up, and the sides go their separate ways. Whether or not Fulio actually eliminated Big Baby, HFE take it as a fact, and now they want him gone. Fulio knows this, and he also knows that once he leaves the campus, the consequences might be serious. So instead of waiting for the school day to finish, he goes to the bus stop early in order to ride home safely. So Fulio hops on the bus, and thankfully there's no rivals aboard. He feels like he's home safe. Long story short, the bus arrives at 2:30 and Fulio hops off with no worries in the world. In fact, he's so not worried that instead of rushing home, he walks to the bushes to roll up. Well, as he's walking to the bushes, all he hears is He's hit up from behind and he loses all feelings in his legs. So he desperately tries to crawl into the bushes, but sadly he can't move fast enough. That's when he senses somebody right behind him and he turns around and looks up. A man in a mask is standing over him and Fulio figures that this is it. This is how it all ends. But after making eye contact, the man shakes his head and simply runs away. For whatever reason, he spares Fulio, but still Fulio is gravely injured. So he calls 911.
You know what I think happened right there? I think he was the wrong target. Like, he thought he was somebody else. And when he realized who he was, he spent on him. That's what I would think.
911 for an ambulance, and police arrive in 3 minutes. When they arrive, he's relieved and he figures that they're going to tend to his wounds. But instead, they simply open a notebook and start asking him questions. Was it you who killed Big Baby this morning?
Man, what? Just take me to the hospital.
Fulio is frustrated that they're not even helping him, but thankfully an ambulance arrives in under 10 minutes.
Okay, so I know where I'm not moving. We don't move to Jacksonville, because obviously when you get shot, you are the first prime suspect, as if you shot yourself with a different gun and tossed it. They crazy.
After undergoing surgery, he thankfully survives, but he still has a major recovery left.
Yeah.
But still, this incident woke him up good. Or at least it should have. What this should have taught him is that trolling somebody's death is not a good idea, especially in Jacksonville. And that's assuming that he isn't responsible for Big Baby and only that he trolled him after his death. But whether or not he was the one who did it, the beef was still definitely on. Thankfully though, Fulio would be completely off the streets for the next 5 months as he had to relearn how to walk after having hip surgery. Still though, what happened to him had serious implications in Jacksonville. And that brings us right back to his original hood, the Hilltop Village. After learning of what happened to Fulio, the Hilltop Village were ready to go to war for him. They knew he was by himself against everyone in West Jacksonville, so they stepped up in his defense. Well, not to say that HFE wasn't intimidating, but Hilltop Village is a whole different animal. So let me introduce you to their main factors. Basically, all of Fulio's early childhood friends didn't make it in school and jumped into the streets. These would be Kendre, Trey D, Dirk, Kojak, T-Shot, Spaz, and many more, trust me. Essentially, these are all the teenagers who stepped up on Fulio's behalf against HFE. Things are about to get crazy.
Watch this. Bill